Welcome, everyone. Lovely to see everyone. So we're going to have 2 days, apparently, of a communication that's quite different, quite radical, if it's heard, that comes from nothing and speaks to no one. What's going to be said and what is said has no agenda or goal. There's no aim to this. There's nowhere to get to. It's a sharing. It's a description as opposed to a prescription, which we're most used to. It's a sharing from nothing. And what's being said is very, very simple and ordinary. What's being suggested and shared is that there's only energy. There's only energy. That's all there is. There's just energy. Just energy. That's all there ever has been. And in that energy, there may arise a sense of feeling like a person, like a separate person who's in the body. So an embodied, really felt sense that I'm in here and there's a world out there. It's not a goal here that anybody is going to fall away, or that this sense of being a person is going to dissipate or melt. From this perspective, there is nothing but energy, nothing but wholeness, nothing but aliveness. And that sense of being separate is always only artificial. It's just an appearance. So there's nothing going to happen at some point in this meeting. You're not going to fall away at a certain point in this meeting, or halfway through the first day, or halfway through the second day, or it's not about a happening. We live as people in a world of happenings. We feel like a person in the world, and things happen to me. Things happen to me, and I have control, and it's my life. This is actually nothing appearing to happen. It's nothing being everything. So what's being pointed towards here, what's being suggested, is already the case. It's already simply aliveness, simply whatever appears to be. Sitting on a chair, words, speaking, sounds, thoughts arise, sensations in the body arise. Everything simply is. And it's this isness that's indescribable and unknowable that's being pointed towards. So this is shared from nothing, and when it is shared, there's questions. The questions appear to happen. Questions appear to arise, and there's no real smart question or silly question or intelligent question or insightful question, or really, this is all about an energy. It's an energetic shift, an apparent shift out of feeling like a person. And if there's a question, or there's something is coming up, or it might necessarily not be a question, but there's an energy there. It's there to be just said or asked or whatever. And it's not that there's an answer. It can be seen, it may be seen that there is no answer, because there is no question. There's simply just what appears to be. And that is in free fall, complete, total free fall, because it is and isn't. It's always new, and it's totally unknowable. You don't know what's going to appear to happen. As a person, we live in the known. We have a sense of living in life and having a life, and there's a sense of knowing of what's going to happen, a predictability, life repeating itself. There's a kind of a second-handness to everything, and the newness isn't seen from that perspective. And all the while, there is that sense of being separate. There's a yearning for wholeness and a yearning for what already is. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. And it's lovely to be here with Ollie for apparently a longer time. 2 days of nothing.
Well, I think that's a wrap, everyone. Everything has been said already.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
That's pretty.
If you got that, then you're good to go.
Do we have a break now?
I'm going to be aligning chakras at the garden now. I'm just kidding. If you can raise your hands for questions, or if you can type your questions, I will call on you, and or we can just sit here, and that's what's happening too. Go ahead, Mats, and unmute yourself.
Okay. Hello, Kenneth. Hello, everyone.
Hey, hiya.
So I do have a question. In a way, I don't, not really, but things that comes up is, I think you have said it, and other speakers have said it, that it doesn't matter. There is no causality in this, the falling away of the me, and there's nothing there's no one that can do anything, all of that. So it doesn't matter whatever happens in my life.
No.
And yet I come to your meetings and some other people's meetings over and over because something in me really believe that is better than not doing that. Can you comment on this?
Yeah, you're not coming to the meeting. There's no meeting now. That's a story. There's no meeting. You're not coming to the meeting. It's not your life. So essentially what's being said here is the shift, you could say, from there being a sense of there being life and my life to just life, if you want to put it that way. But let me just say energy, just energy. There's just energy. But it feels very real that there's a thing called life, and I have my life. And that's completely artificial. It's totally artificial. So your question about what does it matter what happens in my life is essentially you don't have a life. There is only energy. And in that energy, there's things appearing to happen. So there's nothing happening. This is nothing appearing to happen, as opposed to something happening in my life. And when it's something happening in my life, that's everything is imbued with meaning, and some things are more significant than others, and everything has meaning essentially. The meaning is completely and utterly artificial also. And when that sense of being a person is gone, there's no meaning in anything. Everything is beautifully meaningless. So essentially, to answer your question, you're not here. There's just energy. There's just what's appearing to happen. You're not going to meetings.
I hear what you're saying in one sense.
Yeah.
But still, it seems to me in the story of my life, it seems like it loosens up. The me loosens up, and it feels good quite a lot of times being in this kind of environment.
Oh yeah, there's an energy. There's kind of there's an energy to the communication, and that's indescribable. It's totally boundless, and that can resonate. Yeah. But it's not you attending the meeting, or it's not you coming back, because what's been said here essentially is there is no you. There is no separate you. And what's being suggested here actually has absolutely nothing to do with the feeling of you or the story of you or the way you appear to be. Whereas for the person, it has everything to do with me. What they feel they're yearning for has everything to do with me. So essentially, there's just energy, and the energy is there, apparently sitting on a seat. There's sensations, there's headphones over ears, there's maybe feelings arising. That's all there is. And that is just boundless energy, unknowable energy. All the while that there's a sense of someone who's coming to a meeting, and that's what's appearing to happen there.
Yeah, I get your point.
Yeah, so like it is completely energetic what's being said here. For the next 2 days, what's being shared here is absolutely energetic. It's not to do with understanding or knowing at all. It's completely, totally, and utterly energetic. And it's just a resonance that that this character cannot express, or nobody can express, because it's so immediate and obvious and open and just simply this. But it's being pointed towards here, and that may resonate. And it's also very obvious. It's very, 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 very obvious. I cannot express how obvious it is what's being looked for. It's not anything that the mind would think it is. The mind's idea of what's been said here is nonsense. It's just so immediately just boom. Very ordinary.
Boom. Marine, go ahead, please, and unmute yourself.
Hi, Kenneth.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, Maureen, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thank
Nice
you.
to see you.
Yeah, thank you too. You know, just what you said then about, you know, it's incomprehensible for the mind. I find myself, because the mind is so tricky, it's so full of ways and deviousness to try and get to this.
Mm.
And I find myself almost trying to feel into it, like you're trying to sort of feel that energy, looking for that energy, you know, trying to sort of dip down into it, knowing that this is just a trick as well.
Yeah. That's just something that's appearing to happen there then. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not even a trick. It's just it's a kind of an experience. Yeah, that there's a sense that there's some, like, the person kind of feels that there's some other energy maybe that's being suggested here, that it's some other energy that's not what it is exactly what's happening. But it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's literally so simple and ordinary and obvious, and just simply already arms folded and sitting on the chair. It's so immediately just this. And there is only energy. So there is only energy. That's all there is energy. So it's totally inescapable.
It's ridiculous.
So it's not that there's nothing to then access, you know. Like when the person approaches this or hears this, they feel like there's this thing called oneness that's been spoken of, and it's like, I wonder about that oneness thing. It sounds really intriguing. I'd love to get into it. I'd love to kind of lose myself in that oneness thing. How do I get into it? And then there's these kind of experiences that happen that they feel that they kind of dropped away. And oh, there was oneness back there last Wednesday when I was doing art, and there was only the art. And then there was that thing a month ago when I was running, and there was just the running. So the person feels like it lives in this, experiential, sequential kind of reality. And it's one thing and another. And then it holds up one experience of, I think that was the oneness thing that Kenneth is speaking of and others are speaking of. And if only I could get back there, and how do I do it? So it's just this continual loop of chatter about, this, and all the while, there's only oneness. If you want to use that word, oneness, there's only energy. That's all there is. There is no other thing that's been said here. There's no other, it's not like that. There's already only completeness and wholeness. And if that then is a thought of, oh, I wonder how I would kind of sink into it. It literally is that thought of how I could sink into it. It literally is that, because there is nothing else. Yeah, it's very frustrating for the person, because the apparent person is dualism. It feels like that it is duality. So it can only sense, like, the individual engages with this, like there is this thing called oneness, and I'm here and I'm separate. How can I become a part of it? And that's what's been exposed over the next 2 days, is the complete, total and utter futility of looking for what already is. The impossibility of it. It's simply just, there's nothing to find, and there's nobody there to find it. And that's illuminated or exposed, and that aspect of that can feel confronting and frustrating, maybe. And that frustration would be it then. That's the freedom. There's nothing that isn't it. The person's freedom, the person has an idea of freedom that is nonsense, really. It's been free from all constraints and all unpleasantness, and it's all this. It tends to be a nice, cozy thing, and it's complete nonsense. This is absolute freedom and free fall, which is anything can appear to happen.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Maureen. Bingo. Eligio, unmute yourself, please.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Eligio.
Hey, Kenneth, how you been?
Not too bad. Sorry.
It's good, man. Hear you.
Just turn off my phone here.
Let me know when you're ready there.
Yeah.
Hey, so I was thinking, if I may ask, like, were you doing a lot of seeking before? Were the character over there doing a lot of seeking before? Like, did you spend a lot of money going to meditation retreat and?
No.
No.
I wasn't a traditional seeker at all. Actually, no interest in all of that. No real interest in any of that. So I wouldn't have.
There was some kind of bitterness toward that.
Absolutely no bitterness whatsoever. No bitterness. Why would there be bitterness? Just didn't have an interest in it. So from this perspective, there's nobody that isn't seeking. So once you feel like a person, a separate person that's moving in the world, and there's life in my life, there's a yearning and there's a seeking, however that plays out. We think of it in more the traditional kind of terms of spiritual seeking, but that's just one form of seeking.
Would you say this is kind of like a deprogramming from people who think that there is something to get?
What's the deep?
In the spiritual sense?
That this is a deprogramming, is it? Did I hear that right? Sorry.
Yes, like a deprogramming, like a program for spiritual holics.
No, I wouldn't say it's anything. It's nothing. This is nothing. This can't be described. This is not, you can't pin this down. It's from no thing. It's unknowable. It's
Why am I
you
here?
can't say it.
Why do I keep coming
You're not though. You're not. That's exactly it. You're not here. Like, you're not speaking now. You're just, there's just energy. You're not here. This isn't a Zoom meeting, virtual retreat that's going on for 2 days. That's all a story.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I kind of follow you. Yeah. To over there, I'm just like a puppet right now.
It's just energy.
Over here, a bit energy through this body over there, right? Did I freeze?
Yeah, you froze there a bit.
Oh, okay. Sorry, let me. Is it better now?
Yeah, I can hear you well now. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was just saying to you over there, I just seem like a puppet over here, like a zombie, like
No, you seem to be putting some sort of value on it though. There's no value here on anything. You are nothing being everything, and everything is nothing being everything. There is no over there and there is no over here. There's just energy.
just all together, all one, all that stuff. Huh? Yeah. Thank you, Kenneth. I'll keep listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. I have a question here privately. If it's so freaking obvious, why isn't it obvious to me?
It's not obvious to you because you are just being you. The person is just a closed loop of their own knowing. It's too obvious. It's just simply that it's too obvious. That's the problem. It's hiding in plain sight because it's already just simply this, just simply whatever appears to happen. The energy of feeling separate is such that it's continually rejecting what is in favor of something better. So it's constantly sense yearning for something that's better, that it feels will complete and make whole. That's just the way it plays out. There's no the person here isn't being spoken to. That can be quite obvious, or may not be. The person isn't being spoken to because the person isn't recognized as anything but a story. And it's not being spoken to because you, the person, can't see what's being suggested here. The person can only be a person. It's subject-object reality. So the person lives in the real, and the person can only see something else, an object, a thing, a real thing. So what's being said here is what's being pointed towards is nothing. This is nothing already. This is just nothing, and nothing is everything. It's not the person that sees that.
Thank you, Kenneth. If that person wants to add more to that one, you can unmute yourself. If not, that's okay too. There's a follow-up question here. How come this is a scary message?
It's confronting. It's about your own absence. So it's confronting to that feels like somebody, that feels like a separate person. It's very confronting for a message that is saying you're not there. So what's yearned for as a person is your own absence. It's actually just simply whatever is, and what's feared most is your own absence. So it's the end of you. So it's terrifying to the person. The big joke is then that it's seen by nothing, that you never were, that it was only artificial. It's extremely confronting. A clear message is going to be confronting. If it's not a clear message, if it's not an uncompromising and clear message, it will not feel threatening, because basically you're being spoken to and you're being addressed and you're then being fed in some way or another. So it's not threatening at all.
There's a follow-up here. Thank you, Kenneth. But why do I keep on coming back to every single virtual retreat?
You're not coming back to the virtual retreat. There's no virtual retreat, and you're not here now. There's just what appears to be happening. The sense of being a person is that there's a world out there and there's me here, and that things are happening to me and everything is real. So everything is causal and sequential. So I saw an advertisement, I signed up, I got my ticket, and here I am. Boom! Here I am. Now what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What am I going to learn? Where am I going to get to? You know, it's diggy, 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 diggy. What's being said here is that there's no virtual retreat. There's just energy. And that's all there ever is. It's inescapable. Saying there's a virtual retreat is a narrative or a story that is artificial, that the person feels is real. Everything is real, lives in the real. There is only nothing being everything, and it's boundless, totally boundless already.
Bam.
Boom.
Yasmin, go ahead, please.
Hi, Kenneth.
Oh yeah, hi Yasmin.
Hi. What is your perception of your apparent birthday or other, apparent special days?
There's just what appears to be happening. Everything is just what appears to be happening. There's nothing special or not special. It's just life birthday-ing. You know, whereas when you feel like a person, you feel like it's a real thing that's happening to you. Everything is happening to you as a person, everything. So this is my birthday, this is my day, and blah, there's a big, huge narrative around everything.
Mm-hmm.
When there's no longer that sense of being you, there's just what appears to be happening. But appears is the really key word there. It's just an appearance.
Yeah,
and
so
then
the day
there's
would
no
be like
special
any
or
other day.
Exactly, yeah, of
Mhm.
course.
Yeah,
There would just birthday would appear to be happening.
yeah. Would
There's
there be
no
a party?
day, there's no day or
Would there be a
Sorry?
party?
Not with the COVID, I don't think, no.
No,
But
I mean,
yeah, I mean, there's just, I mean, it's as someone said to me before, it's not about you, Kenneth. I was in work and someone said, it's your birthday, we're getting you a cake. And I said, I don't want a cake, I don't want any fuss. It's not about you, Kenneth.
it's about us. We want to party.
It's about us. We want some cake, you know. Do you hear? Do you feel me? So I mean, it's that kind of sense of this birthday and happening. Woo! You know, there's no longer a sense that this is, this is I'm here and it's my birthday. So there's no kind of sense of not wanting to be maybe the center of attention anymore, because you're not the center of attention anymore, because there is no center in anything. So it's birthdaying happens. Why not? You know.
Yeah.
You know, just the same as if it was someone else's birthday, apparently that would be fun. Cake. You know, cake is good.
Caking.
Don't believe the lies. Cake is good.
Yeah, I believe so too. Cake is definitely good.
Cake is good.
Cheesecake is good.
Yeah, cheesecake is especially good. I offer no methods, but there is the cake route.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's the death by chocolate cake route to nothing.
Well, that's the message today, the cake.
That's the message. Yeah, if we take
Yeah.
anything away, eat cake. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I mean, there's not special falls apart. And is simply, it's indescribable what's been said here, but I'll always come back to how ordinary it is and obvious. It's just ridiculously ordinary. It's just so ordinary because it's already the case that there's just energy, and then it's just whatever appears to be happening. The difference is it's the exact same as when I feel like a person. It's the same except that it's indescribably different because there's nothing happening. It's just energy, but it's not different in the way that the person thinks it is, because you're already not there. It's already the case that you're just talking there, and everyone else who comes up, they may say, well, I feel this and I feel that. That's just a story.
And do you remember any, like, before the shift and after the shift, like your relation, your relation to your birthday, let's say, did you, like, was it important before?
Did someone forget your birthday when you were a kid?
No, no, I'm just curious. Like, how would you, like, has there been any change for you, apparent change?
No, not really, no. I mean, you can't, nothing that you could pinpoint. It's there was no shift, is what I'd really say to that, is that it was
so
seen
the apparent
that there
falling
was no
away, let's say.
Yeah, it was seen that there never was a Kenneth anyway, so nothing happened. Nothing happened. That's the difficulty. The huge difficulty in this, in the communication aspect of this, to what feels like a person, is for that person that feels like a person, they're living in happenings. Something happens, something happens, something is happening now because I'm here and it's happening to me. So when this is shared, it's impossible for the person not to construe it, conceive of it as something happened to you, because they see another person over there. So something happened to you. It sounds interesting. I think I kind of want it, or I might want it, or I want some of it. And that's the way the whole thing works. But it's not a happening. It's not a happening. Nothing happened to me. And there was just no longer a sense of being a separate me. And it was seen then that that was the natural reality, if you want to put it that way, that there never was a me and there never is a me anywhere. There's no me's, there's no people. There is no separation at all whatsoever. And then people report themselves to be separate and say, well, I still feel like a person. So, you could, different kind of neurotic kind of ways of being kind of fall away or whatever, but it's not really even that relevant, in relation to what you said, like a before or after. Because there is no before or after.
Thank you, Yasmin. I have a question here from Kane. Is there still an interest in Tony and Jim?
Tony and Jim?
Tony Parsons and Jim.
Oh, Tony and Jim. Are they a duo now? Tony and Jim. Bum. I don't have an interest in anybody, really. I just have an interest in communications. And I've been saying that for a number of years now. I don't have an interest in talking about people. It's completely impersonal. This is the most impersonal thing you're ever going to hear. It could not be anything more impersonal than this. So there's not an interest in Tony or in Jim or in any of the others, Andreas or whoever you want to name. There's an interest in communications. It's more than an interest. It's a passion. There's a passion for communications, and it's absolute in loveness with what appears to be happening, and an in loveness with a clear, uncompromising communication. I absolutely love to hear it. And it's not from anybody. This is nothing to do with Kenneth, the character, nothing whatsoever. It's just coming, boom, out of nothing. It's not known here. This is not coming from a bank of knowledge, and never does. If it's coming from known or someone who knows something, it's got a completely different quality to it, a different energy to it. But I would still listen to certain. I would certainly listen to the Open Secret. Oh, I've always loved the Open Secret, and that's the first time that a clear message was heard here. So there's just an in loveness with the Open Secret. I mean, I just love that communication so much, and it's stunning to me. It's absolutely stunning, but it's nothing to do with Tony or anybody. It's nobody's message. And I have listened to Jim, and I liked it, and I liked other people, but I don't listen to too many other people really that much. I just don't find, it's just that I don't find myself, but I feel that there's more. I feel that it's being communicated now from different people more than it was, say, a few years ago. Some of them sound like they're very clear and uncompromising, and if you really kind of listen for a while, you get a sense there's still someone there, and they're speaking to someone or someone who knows something. But that doesn't matter either. It's just what appears to happen. There's no such thing as non-duality, actually.
Brilliant. Eligio, go ahead, please, and unmute yourself.
Okay, Kenneth, I have a follow-up question to Jasmine, I think. It is more about the terms that you are using, so I understand how you're using the terms. So you say that there's an appearance of a person. When I feel like a person, there's an appearance that's happening, and then you say when that falls away, that's also an appearance. Wouldn't you just say that's a disappearance of the person?
Yeah, it's an apparent disappearance of the person. Yeah, because the
Okay.
person isn't there to begin with.
I'm gonna write this down. Appearance of disappearance.
There's no point writing anything down, man. It's nothing to get.
I'm really trying to get it. Look, I got notes.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
That's kind of a joke. I know you hate that, or I don't know. I know. Anyways,
it's okay. It's
so
only
then,
it doesn't matter.
You're right. Okay. So then I hear you say nothing, and then I hear you no thing.
Yeah, the same
Is
thing.
that a separate term? Same thing.
No, same thing.
You're referring to the same thing. Okay.
The same.
And then the last
the same thing. Yeah. It's not a thing, but yeah.
Right. Same. You're pointing to the same.
It's yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay. No difference. We use nothing and we use no thing. It's pointing to the same.
Same no thing.
Okay. And then the third question is, can you tell me how many people you've enlightened, please?
Nobody.
In your career?
Nobody.
Okay.
Nobody. Never.
But there
is no such thing as an enlightened person.
Right. But there have been people that you've genuinely thought that they actually got it by hearing you, Kenneth.
No, that would also be a story, though. It's nothing to do with me. It's absolutely nothing to do with me, because that still is causal. That's something that would be causal. That would be Kenneth has a communication that someone heard, and then someone then wasn't there listening to Kenneth's communication. It's not like that at all. It's just from nothing. It's engaged with, and it resonates. And more now, it's resonating more, and there has been that people are just it has been seen that they're not there.
Yeah.
Put it that way. But it's not a numbers game. I mean, the only number is one, really, isn't it?
Right. I understand that. I just
if it was like that, no, I think it's a fair point. It's a fair question. I mean, like I said at the beginning, right? It's just energy. You know, if there's something there, and it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong question, or there's no question that's a silly question, or it doesn't matter. It's just boom, boom. But if it was that way, that it was a numbers game, right? The first thing that Kenneth would do was put testimonials on his website. Well, that would be a very obvious thing to do. That, oh, such and such heard this message. Oh my God, wow. Boom, bang, 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 exclamation mark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From Mary in Delaware and John in fucking San Francisco. And you know what I mean? That's not what this is like at all.
When I get it, I'm going to put you on Yelp that I got it from Kenneth.
Yeah.
Go see Kenneth. But
promote the shit out of me, you know, when you get it, then when you get it, you won't get it, and you could Zoom me or phone me and or whatever, and it would be it would be said, I can't say what you were trying to say.
Would it be a very boring conversation? Would it be a very boring conversation?
I wouldn't say that boring is something that the person has, boring, because it's looking for stimulation all the time. Like this is about boundless, unknowable oneness or energy, which is always new. I mean, what the fuck is boring about that? This is like nothing is now computering, nothing is microphoning, nothing is voicing, nothing is sensations of sitting on a chair, and it's always new.
And if I get it
for nobody, you get it.
And if I get it, I may not be interested in reporting it back to you or anybody
Yeah, I do.
else. I might
Absolutely.
just disappear, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're already not there. There's already just wholeness.
Yeah. And then so then you're speaking through, because you don't know it either now, or when you speak you don't know it. Anyways, I guess you're just, I don't know, talking from previous patterns or previous conditioning.
No. Again, you're thinking that there's someone here who must be
Too far.
accessing something to be. Yeah. This is just unknowable. This is the unknown already. This is nothing being everything. And if it's a clear communication, it has to be from nothing.
Yeah.
And it has to be. It has
Yeah,
to
but
be.
it
Can't be clear then. If it's not, then it's from the known. It's from someone who knows something, and it's dualism,
Okay.
and it's completely
But-
different energy.
Right. But to communicate, you have to learn to speak English first.
I mean, yeah.
That's
Okay.
that's kind of a pattern. Okay, maybe I'm going to the story, but then you gotta know the terms of what you're speaking of, maybe, and then when that thing disappeared for you over there, then you have the vocabulary to speak of it. Maybe, I don't know. Anyways, thank you, Kenneth, so much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Leo. There's a couple of messages here. One said, how about Ariana? She said that she had a falling away from listening to you. And then Kane also goes, Ariana, LOL.
Yeah, but there's no Ariana. So, I mean, there's no Ariana. and if you speak to Ariana, and I think she loves to speak as well, she'll tell you nothing happened. So it's not that it was apparently listening to me. There's a communication from nothing, and it resonated there. There was a readiness, and it resonated, and boom, and it's not describable. But it's not, the person thinks of it as a causal thing, that Kenneth is saying something that had an effect on a person, and then that person then fell away. That's all in the story.
Kane asks, is there an interest in becoming more popular with this message and get millions of views?
There's just what appears to be happening. So there's just an in-loveness with what appears to be. And there's a complete passion for this, just for this, you know, just aliveness, this, and this communication, this scene. There's a total passion for this, and it's there's a passion for the sharing of it, that it's stunning. It's completely stunning. The character Kenneth is as stunned by this now as the very first day. It's absolutely stunning, and it's completely not a numbers game at all. So, I mean, sitting down with one person, and where this conversation arises, boom, you know, are communicating to 100 people in a conference or a meeting. It's, you know, it doesn't matter. It's just the communicate. It's stunning. It's stunning. There's no goal with this. There's nowhere to get to with it. Yeah. Energetically speaking, there's a resonance with this now. There's a resonance with this sharing now, right? And it is that resonance. That it is concerned with that resonance. It's an energetic resonance that's just, there's just this. The sharing when you're in a group, that sense of boundlessness can be more obvious in a group.
Go ahead, Susan, and mute yourself, and we can't see you unless you want it to be that way.
Yeah, my camera, I need to have another camera. It doesn't really work. So you can hear me though, right? You can hear me?
I can hear you perfect. Yes, yeah.
Good.
Oh,
All right. So it's stunning. So who is it stunning for? I mean, why is it stunning?
Nobody, nobody, nobody.
Yeah.
It's not, you see, you're continually trying to, because the person feels like a person, it can only see another person. So it has to be for somebody. It's that subject object reality, because you feel like a subject. There has to be someone over there that has to be experiencing something. That's the perception of the person. It's impossible for the person. It's for
Yeah.
nobody. There is already nothing. This is nothing.
Yeah. But it's because as you were speaking right before, you said it's absolutely stunning, but you're not there to experience stunning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not even stunning. It's just nothing being everything. It's totally indescribable. Boom. But these are words that are being used to just try to point towards the indescribable.
Right.
Completely paradoxical to the person, because it's I've said about 20 times already that it's absolutely ordinary, completely and totally and utterly ordinary. And it's also stunning for nobody. That's a paradox for the person who lives in dualism, who is, it's either, okay, which is it? Is it ordinary or is it stunning?
Yeah, but I'm just, so who is experiencing the ordinary
Nobody.
stunningness?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Same answer to the same question before.
Exactly.
Nobody's experiencing it because there is nobody. There's nobody there either asking a question. Although there may feel like there is somebody there. And there's no experience either, because experience requires you to be there to have an experience. The person has experiences, and which are more objects, more things.
Yeah.
This
So
is not an experience. Like what's being suggested here is not an experience or a state of any kind at all. Any kind of experience or state of mind that the person has is irrelevant.
right.
It can't be experienced. For it to be experienced requires that there's everything, and then there's me. There's a separation for it to be experienced.
Yeah. Yet you are experiencing a life.
No, I'm not experiencing anything. I just said that. There's just what appears to be. So now, right, there's not an experience here of sitting on a chair and speaking, and a computer does not, no experience. There's just sitting on a chair, voice, speaking. That's all, and that's all there is for anybody, except that people report themselves that I feel I'm sitting on a chair, I feel I'm speaking. And that's what we're sharing for the next 2 days, is illuminating that, the artificial nature of that sense of separation.
Yeah, so you could say there's nobody there doing anything. There's just a voice. There's a hearing of a voice speaking. There's
nobody there either. There's nobody
on a
speaking
chair.
there. Yeah,
Huh?
there's nobody there either. There's just speaking.
There's just speaking. Yes.
Yeah.
It's just a voice, energy, an energy that is heard as a voice, but it's nobody's voice. It's just voice happening, I guess.
There's just whatever appears to happen. The person,
Right.
the individual feels that they're there and it's happening to them.
Right.
So if you want to talk about this, the senses, or this voicing, there's sound, and there's the sensations of speaking, the physical movement in the throat and the mouth forming sentences. The person feels that they are making these movements and that they are hearing the voice, the sound that comes. So it's everything is like that then. There's only what appears to be, and there's this artificial filter of me who owns everything. So that's it's my throat, and it's my voice box quivering, and it's my lips and mouth moving, and it's my sound, and I can hear the sound. Me. It's me that's sitting on the chair. It's me that's thinking. It's me that has a sensation or a feeling. Me, all the time. A sense that everything is poured through this me. That me is a complete, total, and utter story. It's a story. It's not there. It feels there for the person. It feels like if I was a person, it would feel like I'm speaking. It would feel like I'm sitting on the chair. Yeah. That's what's being shared here, that sense of being a person is a story.
Right.
And what's yearned for actually is to not be that separate person who experiences and has a sense that there's a world out there. What's yearned for is the immediacy of just everything, which is nothing, and which absolutely terrifies the person, because everything is nothing, and the nothing terrifies the person. It's very, very, very confronting, because it's the end of that dream of me.
Yeah. Unless you're tired of dreaming, right? Then it's not so terrifying, I guess. But
Yeah, I'm talking in general terms. There can be, it just resonates. What's said here resonates, and there can be an opening, and there can be a readiness for what's being said here. But it could also be terrifying also. Like very commonly it resonates. What's being said here can really resonate and also be completely confronting. So that this kind of push-pull sensation of, there's an in-loveness with this. I love this communication. It's stunning. And I also don't really want to be here. I don't want to hear this for some reason also. That gets quite common.
yeah. Yeah. So I'm just wondering, because we, human beings, maybe it's part of being a human being to be a storyteller, I don't know. It's like we're made to do this storytelling, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like, isn't it kind of weird that we're all storytellers? And I guess
It's what's appearing to happen. It's just what appears to happen. That's what's happening. Humans are appearing to happen, that they are living on the earth, and there's two things. There's human beings, and then there's everything else. The utter arrogance of it. So there's nature, and there's us, there's human beings, and then there's this separate thing called nature, which we're making an absolute dog's dinner of, and then we're going to save the nature then. It's complete dream.
Yeah.
It's a story, but as a person, it doesn't feel like a story. It feels absolutely real. It feels that there is all of these things are real, and there is a person. I am a person, and I meet other people, and there's really things happening, and we can get somewhere. There's always somewhere to get to. Then you're never quite there. It's not quite right. It has to be better. We have to save this and do that, and it's always around the next corner. That's inherent in the sense of being a person, is that you're going to get there someday, or if you do arrive, it's temporal and fleeting, and then it's gone again. So it's always this kind of sense of moving towards something, but then that thing that you feel you're looking for never seems to arrive or be obtainable. And the reason for that, from this perspective of what's being shared here, is that it's not a thing, it's nothing, it's not to do with anything. It's actually what's looked for is nothing, is no thing, which is that there's no you, there's no separate you. There's just what appears to be happening.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, it's like, I mean, let's just say we're created by God or created by nothing or whatever, but it's like the human thing to be a dreamer or a storyteller. So I don't know. It's just like, why were we made by mistake? Like it's just so like
no, it's just there's just stories happen, and there's no significance or meaning in them. They're just stories. It's just what appears to happen, and nothing was created by anything. There's no higher anything that created something else. There's just energy.
Yeah, it's just so strange we're here and we're doing this thing in a way.
We're apparently here, yeah.
Yeah.
We feel that it's strange that we're here and we're on planet Earth and we're doing these things and all of this. But what's being said here is that we are not actually here as we feel we are. There's no separate people. There never has been. There's just energy.
Yeah. 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 And then one last thing is just that longing that, it seems like somewhere we have a longing to know that, right, that we are nothing and we don't
Of course we do, because we are living in a closed loop of knowing. That's what the person is knowing. So the person knows everything and wants to know what's being said here. The idea that it's unknowable is not attractive to the person. It's horrible, because everything is known. They live in the known. That's how the person appears to keep this bubble of me safe in a world that they feel is outside of them, is living in the known. And really what's being yearned for is completely unknowable. Because if it's known, it requires you to be separate from it to know it. So there's life and what's appearing to happen, and then there's me who knows what's appearing to happen. It's completely unknowable, totally and utterly unknowable. And that's the adventure, that's the free fall, that's the life of free fall. It's not knowable anymore. So it's just what's appearing to happen.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah, and I like that unknowable, but I'm just wondering, no one is longing. Like, what is that longing that we all
longing is coming from the sense of you feeling separate. So there's a sense of being a separate, and there's a longing for wholeness. And the big
Yeah.
joke is there's nothing but wholeness already.
Right.
This is wholeness.
Wondering, like, so that longing is an energy also, of course, because
There's nothing
everything is
but energy. That's all there is energy. There's nothing but
Yeah.
energy, which is nothing being everything. And in that arises a sense of being separate to everything. There's a me and there's everything else. There's a world, and it's a very dissatisfying perception, which out of which comes a longing for wholeness.
Yeah, but just wondering what that dissatisfied. It's just like, because there's no one to feel dissatisfied either. There's no one to long.
Well, there's apparently somebody who's very dissatisfied. That's the whole point.
Yeah, but
there's apparently a sense of feeling like a somebody who feels dissatisfied.
yes, but that one doesn't exist. Just like the one who's longing doesn't exist. I don't know. It just seems all this energy, like what's the point with all this energy? I don't know. It's like, what's that then? What's energy then? I don't. It's what is that appearing? Why is there energy appearing in the universe? Or
there's no universe. There's no
universe.
why is what the person asks for. That why it comes directly out of the person. Why, and essentially all the whys are boiling down to, why am I a person? Why am I a separate person? There is no why to anything. There's no meaning in anything. Everything is completely, beautifully meaningless.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Susan. I have a couple of comments here, Kenneth. Kane goes, brilliant. This feels like the ultimate CBT therapy. And thanks, Kenneth Emerson. This is stunning, and no one is here, and it's not a realization, but something clicked for no one in between the boom and when bingo was said. It's all of a sudden
so all
undeniable.
we need a testimonial from you. Just get that name now.
Yes.
Because that's
I
another
will.
one that popped.
That's another one.
I brought that one about now. So I think I'm up to I'm up to 75 people this week now.
77.
77. Yeah, sorry, Emerson. My apologies.
Okay. Yeah.
No, but it's beautiful. It is stunning, though. It's absolutely, when it resonates, it's just, there's nothing like it. There's nothing. It's no experience can touch it, and it's just indescribable, and it's so obvious. It's just so obvious. It's just, they're just what appears to be, whatever that is.
Oh, 78 now. 78.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Yeah. This keeps on happening, apparently. Someone just messaged and said, I'm jealous.
Yeah. I know. I want the no thing. I want to not be there.
Should I send a certificate for this person now, Kenneth, and then we'll charge?
We will see. We have to get the
Yeah.
testimonial first, Emerson.
Okay,
Let's
yeah,
not-
testimonial
yeah,
first. All right.
You gotta get, it's good for the marketing.
If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. You can also type the question. You can also directly message me. A lot of people are doing that if you want to ask the question anonymously. There's a direct question here. If there's no time or space, why does it seem like we know the past but don't know the future if they are both the same?
Well, it's that there's the appearance of time and space. So it's for the person, they're real, absolutely real. They live in the absolute real. There's the appearance of time. So we can say, it's 4 minutes past 1. But with the person, the problem with the person is they feel there's a real thing called 4 minutes past 1, and it's really happening. It's just a story like everything else. Could put it that way. There's no boundary. There is no boundary. The person feels when they're a person, excuse me, that they are real, that their life is real and it's happening to them, and that there's time and space, and that there's a now. There's a thing called a now, which is bordered by the past and the future. Like, where is the boundary? Where is the boundary? It's a complete and utter story. When does the past begin? When does it start? You'll never find anything there because there is nothing there, because there is no, it's all just a story. So all of that falls away or is seen as being a story for nobody. It's very simple, it's very ordinary, it's very obvious that there's just energy, there's just what appears to happen, which is nothing being everything.
Bingo. Someone just said, can you please keep on saying bingo?
Have you got a bingo game on the sidelines here, Emerson, that you're not telling me about?
That's
you're multitasking and trying
on
to
on my other screen here. There's a bingo.
I was thinking,
it's Tony Parsons is doing a bingo. Just
people think you're doing bingo. It means something, but you just tell them you're doing a sideline bingo thing on another computer.
Yeah. There's this bingo here happening. Sorry.
Yeah. Just to clarify that.
It's not in the bingo. It's just, I'm just really playing bingo here.
Yeah. How boring is that? The host is actually so bored that he's playing a game of bingo on the side. We have to talk, Emerson. You're supposed to sound interested.
Yes.
But it is actually boring, though. I mean, it's for the person. This is nothing. There's nothing here for the person. There's nothing for the person to get out of this, or it's absolutely, completely, totally, and utterly useless. And for the person, they're so used of extracting something from experientially or in a knowledge skill base, or in some way get something out of everything. And that something then will enrich my life and give me new skills or give me new knowledge and make my life better. And this is the most useless communication, because it's saying very clearly that there is no you that has a life. There's nothing that can be done with this. It's very disappointing. It's beautifully disappointing, because the person is hope. Like, the person moves in a hopeful anticipation of something better than it can't just be now, sitting on a chair and there's some trees kind of moving in the wind a bit there outside, and occasional birds. There's a computer. It can't just be this, like. for the person.
Just reading another comment there. There's no one here in all caps. There's no one here. There's no one here. There's no one here. Bingo.
Yeah.
Someone's
Yeah.
playing bingo too.
Yeah. There is nobody. There is just what appears to happen.
Eligio, go ahead, please, and unmute yourself.
Hey, Kenneth, I'm back.
Oh, yeah.
I'm back. So I was going to ask it this way: if there was here and here was there, what kind of questions would you ask? Or did you ever ask questions to Tony Parson? And what kind of questions would you ask if there is a remembrance of that? What kind of questions were you asking before? Can you hear me? Did I freeze?
I think he's frozen.
Oh, I think he froze. Okay.
Just a
It's not
moment.
me.
Okay. So technical
Okay.
difficulties. Yeah.
Okay.
There wasn't very many questions to ask. It was just.
Yeah, he broke. So he's muted now.
Sorry, I dropped there for a second.
Yeah, then you muted. You were muted. I didn't
Yeah.
hear anything. Yeah.
Okay, because I just had a perfect answer for you there.
Damn it! I missed it.
Yeah.
I missed it, man.
Yeah.
And we'll never get it back, will we?
You know, you never will get anything back. I mean, and that's it. Like, it's just doesn't. Anyway, there was the memory of it is just a continual kind of just a confirmation that, oh my God, it really is just this. It really is just this. And any kind of sense of what was noticed was any kind of action of Kenneth, because there still would have been some kind of energy of feeling like Kenneth to some degree, and any of that energy was completely met a brick wall, completely met nothing.
Okay.
And that
so
was
right there, would you call it witnessing? Witnessing? Right there,
no,
stage of witnessing?
No, not witnessing. No.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that the energy of the person met with a brick wall. There was nothing on offer, and I was seen as nothing but unconditional love and whole, and that was boom, stunning.
Just curiosity. Just curiosity. Was it the first meeting you went to Tony Parson, or did you go to a few? Just curiosity, and that's all I got. Thank you, Kenneth.
All of that's just a story. It doesn't matter. I never went to Tony Parsons, as I said in the beginning when someone asked. It's nobody's communication. Yeah. But in the story, the way it was actually just a YouTube video that was watched however many times, 10 or 20 times. And in the video, the first time it was, and then it was seen that the video, every time the video was watched was the first time it was watched. And that was boom. And then it was apparently going to the meeting was within a few minutes. It was just confirmation of what was suggested in the video. And that's kind of the beginning and the end of it, really.
Logically or
no, not energetically. Energetically. It was just seen. Now there was apparently a period of when Kenneth kind of appeared to be there, or there was a yearning then, and then it was seen that it was actually the yearning. It was the yearning. It wasn't any kind of, and it's not describable. It's not like, there is no awakening and there is no liberation. The person feels that these things are relevant or important, and they're not.
Right. The yearning was the energetic felt sense of separation. Sounds like
No, the yearning was already it. Whereas the person would have felt there's yearning, and it's when this yearning is resolved, then there'll be wholeness. But it was seen by nobody. Yearning is also it, because there's only whatever appears to happen, and then it's game over, really. Like,
okay,
I mean,
the yearning was the wholeness, but also was anything else that was going on aside from the yearning was also the wholeness.
Yeah, well, I mean, the person, it's an attempt to describe what the person feels generally, that there's a sense of, okay, now I'm done, there's only this now, and this is amazing, and this is what's happening, but then now I feel like shite. I just feel like shite. I don't know why I feel like shite. I feel like shite today. So that can't be it. Feeling like shit isn't it? It can't be it. So now this must be, I'm a person now and I feel like shit, blah, 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 blah. It can be seen, that that feeling is also just nothing being everything. And then that's the free fall. That's the total and utter boom. It doesn't matter what's appearing to happen. Another example I always use or frequently use is clarity and confusion. You know, the person would feel that what's being said here or suggested here, it might be clear, there might be clarity about it, and that clarity is in somehow it, as opposed to confusion. It's not about clarity or confusion, because it's just energy being clear, or energy, confused energy, and that's just what's appearing to happen. There's nobody to be clear about anything. But the person, the energy of being the person, is that energy of pulling in one thing and pushing away something else. And when there's no longer a sense of being a person, there's no longer a sense of pulling in one thing and pushing away something else, because everything is whole and everything is oneness. So that's just what appears to be happening. If it's pain, if it's whatever it is, then it's very clear that it cannot be any other way.
There's totally a relaxation or a dropping of that fantasy that when I get it, it'll all be blissful. Totally, I get that.
Because you will never get it. Nobody ever did get it, because there's nothing to get and there's nobody to get it. There's just the immediacy of just whatever appears.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Thanks.
Thank you, Eligio. A couple of comments here, or questions. This one is there a fearlessness in liberation and more not giving a fuck?
Is there a fearlessness in, sorry?
There a fearlessness in the liberation and more not giving a fuck?
Oh yeah, but it's the ultimate not giving a fuck, because it's the ultimate not giving a fuck, because there's nobody there. There's just what's appearing to happen, and there's nothing happening even. It's way beyond like someone, I don't care, I don't give a fuck what's happening, or I don't give a fuck what this. It's way beyond that. It's just that there's just what's appearing to be. It's completely whole. A fearlessness, it's because there's nobody having an agenda, or there's nothing to be afraid of, because all of those times when people are afraid of this thing and that thing, they're just protecting their sense of individualism, really. Now, energy or anything that could be discomfort could arise or whatever, but and fear also arises. This is the beautiful, beautiful thing. Fear arises, but it's no longer your fear. That's the person feels that what's been said here is, it would be like they relate it to a state, or a state of being in some state where you wouldn't get nervous, or you wouldn't get fearful or anything, and you wouldn't. So it tends to be, it's kind of back to what we were just saying. It tends to be all those unpleasant things, they would never arise, and there would be a kind of a state of being completely at ease with everything. That's not what's being said here. That's not what's being said at all. So anything could happen, and fear still arises, but it's no longer anybody's fear, and it's just what's appearing to happen. And also, the person is the person kind of maintain the energy of being a person is maintaining themselves safe from a world that's outside of them. So there's a comfortable kind of bubble that they seem to be in, which is which is to do with them knowing and not knowing. So if they don't know it, they keep it at arm's length. If they know it, it's integrated into the sense of being a person, and they keep themselves safe. And what's being said here is dangerous and raw and full on. Boom. To know that that sense of that buffer of trying to be safe is gone. Which can feel very, 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 very scary to the person.
Brilliant. Here's another one. Why do I feel like I have to throw up that there was never a me in the first place and also accelerated? There's no one here at all. Wow, this is the best.
Yeah.
That's number 80 or 79. I don't know. There's another question here. Was continuing to with work hard after liberation?
Nothing is continued. There is no before liberation and there is no after liberation. There's just what's appearing to happen. So there's work appears to happen or doesn't appear to happen. So there is no liberation. That's the way we started this. There's nothing to get, there's nothing to know, there's nothing going to happen. There is no liberation. But there are terms that are used in the expression of nothing. That they point towards something, but there's no actual liberation. There's no actual awakening or any of that. There's only whatever appears to be, and then there's clearly no after or before.
Excellent. Mats, go ahead, please, and unmute yourself.
So I know you play a string instrument. Is it a guitar or something?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So I have very difficulty not believing that without me, it's nicer to listen to someone, so to speak, playing the guitar that is liberated from me. Because when there is a me, the me will somehow get in the way. That is my imagination now. Can you reply to that?
Yeah, it's an idea kind of there that somebody would get in the way of it. Like it's impossible for the person to imagine what's being suggested here, and it's impossible for the person to see that there is no body playing the guitar, and that is not a sequence of a skill that's learned over time and got to a certain thing, and there's somebody doing it. And the reason that is because the person feels like a person themselves, so they feel separate and they can only see other people. So that's the way it is for the person. That what's being shared here is not being spoken to the person. It's a resonance, it's an energetic resonance, and it can be obvious that there's no over there, there's no here, there's no inner or outer, there's just what appears to be. And if that's guitar playing, that's guitar playing, and that's what it is. There's nobody in there doing it. If you take any kind of piece of music from the pop music on the radio to your more kind of maybe nuanced music like Beethoven, or classical music, or I don't know, more skilled stuff, there's nobody doing any of it. There's nobody making the mucky shit you hear on the radio, or the absolutely stupendous, mind-blowingly skilled music, that whatever that is that appeals to you. There's nobody, it's just energy musicking. Nobody's ever written a piece of music. There is only that piece of music. So in the case of, say, I don't know, but Beethoven, there's life Beethovening. There's not a person called Beethoven who wrote this music. And equally with the guitar, there's only just playing the guitar. There's only just the sound and playing. There's nowhere to get to with it. Sometimes I think that you can kind of sense the energy of the person getting involved, like I said, kind of a busyness to the person, and sometimes you can hear it in music. I certainly feel I can kind of hear when someone very much feels that they're playing and that it's their music, that you can you kind of get a sense of that sometimes, as opposed to, but equally they're not there anyway, but it's only but equally then that sometimes you get a feeling when there's certain music that as if the person kind of got out of their own way, is how you'd often hear it described, and there's only just the music then, and it's like as if it's pouring through them, but both are an appearance anyway.
Yeah, the last thing you said, that was what I was aiming for. And because also you said somebody, some Advaita speakers, it seems like there's still a person, and then the message is not as clear. And I'm
It's
asking
different.
you, asking you if that is, if you could say it's a similar thing with playing a guitar or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be like there's the sense of being a person is like an artificial layer on everything. And that sense, a contracted sense of being a person, can appear to be stronger in some people, so that even it's like their affected sense of them, and even when they're speaking to you, everything is very calculated, everything is very kind of controlled, everything is very to do with the optics of it, and it's energetically, you get a sense of it. It's kind of a constricted sense that they feel there, and another apparent person might not be there as much, and that's just what's appearing to happen. In the end, it doesn't matter. Like, there is nobody communicating anything. Going back to say the messages, there's no message, there's no communication, and it just so happens that a lot of them are still appear to be from a person who's speaking to someone else, and they're completely two different things. Then it's totally and utterly different. Once there's that energy of feeling, or that sense that it's coming from someone who's speaking to somebody else, that boundlessness isn't there. It's energetically got something totally different. And what's confusing for people is that most people, when they hear the words, the first message and the second message, the words now can be very, 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 very similar, and it sounds the same, and you'd often hear, well, this person's saying the same, and you go, well, okay, fair enough if that's what you think, but it's obvious that they're speaking to someone. When this is shared from nothing and there's nobody being spoken to, it's a boundless message.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I'm not sure if you have your hand up again, Susan.
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So it's like pure existence. It's just pure existence, and that existence is just like energy. That's it.
It's just everything is just energy. All there is energy. All there is now is nothing being everything. There's nothing but. So what's being pointed towards here is inescapable. What's always been yearned for by the person has never been lost. And it is totally inescapable, because all there is energy. I'm not speaking here. I'm not speaking, but what's being pointed towards here is not of this other kind of optional wholeness energy, this other energy that's different to your daily life or whatever. There is only that. There is only energy.
Yeah, you could say this existence, right? I mean, we do kind of exist, right? But we just don't exist.
The problem with existence is it's all in the real. The person lives just in the real, so they feel I exist, I am, and the nothing, the The not side of things is not seen. The no thing is not seen. That's the whole lived experience of being a person. Is I'm a person, I have a life, and I see objects. It's a subject-object reality. They live in the real. The unreal can't be seen, and that's what's being pointed towards here, is that this is the unreal, because the unreal is the real and the real is the unreal. The nothing is everything and the everything is nothing. Life is death and death is life, if you want to use those words.
Yeah.
But it's not this, what's been said and suggested is not noble. The person will grapple with it and try and know and understand it. It's completely, totally and utterly beyond any comprehension whatsoever. But equally, it's so open and obvious and ordinary. It's just this, it's not complex.
Right. Yeah. And then it is said that there is some subtle mind thing that when the body dies, the body dies, and then there is some subtle mind. So it's just a subtle energy that moves on as an energy, I guess. I don't know. I know there's no person, so I guess there's no soul either, but that moves on after death of the body. But it's just maybe some energy of some kind that, the energy.
But there is only energy. So there is only energy. And what we feel as somebody who dies is an illusion, because there is nobody who has a life who then dies and loses the life, because there was nobody who was born who had a life to begin with. There's no beginning and there's no end. So on the physical death of the body, like the closest you could probably come to describing it is like an energetic shift, but it's completely unknowable, and actually nothing happens. Nothing happens, because this is already nothing appearing to happen. But it's the end of that sense of being a person in the body on physical death, that there's I'm here and it's my body and I'm here. So there's just then energy. But that's not describable or knowable. Death is not describable or knowable, just in the same way that life isn't describable or knowable, because they're not two different things. The person feels like there's this thing called life, which I have, and there's another thing called death, which I'm heading towards, hopefully not too soon. And that's the narrative. That's the way it is. And what's being said here is that there's not two different things. There's not life and death. There's just energy, which is nothing being everything. And when it's seen by nobody, it's clearly seen that there is nothing dies, because there's nowhere to go to. There's nothing other but than this. There's no loss. Whereas when there's a feeling of being a person, there's very much a sense of loss of that, because it's the loss of that was taken to be a separate object.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. I have a question here from Joey, but I'll save that for later, because it's already been 90 minutes and we're going to do a break. Funny how time flies when there's no time. Joey, I'll keep your question for later. Thank you so much, Kenneth. Thank you, Luciana. Luciana is my co-host as well. Thank you, everyone. We're going to log out. We're going to log out now. We're going to be back. I
hope you're not playing bingo, Luciana, are you? Because I'm pissed off with Emerson with the bingo thing. You're not doing it. If I feel this bingo, I'm going to do something about this. I might have to switch you over.
I'm going to get replaced. Yeah. I'll stop.
It's lovely bingo. Not to have to host. It's great, actually. Yeah, thanks.
But I'm playing bingo, so
yeah.
See you, everyone.
Okay, see you in a while then.